Book 13. One More Strange Island. He ended it, and no one stirred or sighed in the shadowy hall, spellbound as they all were, until Alcinous answered, "When you came here to my strong home, Odysseus, under my tall roof, headwinds were left behind you. Clear sailing shall you have now, homeward now, however painful all the past. My lords, ever my company, sharing the wine of counsel, the songs of the blind harper, hear me further. Garments are folded for our guest and friend in the smooth chest, and gold in various shaping of adornment lies with other gifts, and many brought by our peers. Let each man add his tripod and deep-bellied cauldron. We'll make levy upon the realm to pay us for the loss each bears in this." Alcinous had voiced their own heart's wish. All gave assent, then home they went to rest. But young Dawn's fingertips of rose, touching the world, roused them to make haste to the ship, each with his gift of noble bronze. Alcinous, their ardent king, stepping aboard himself, directed the stowing under the crossplanks, not to cramp the long pull of the oarsmen. Going then to the great hall, lords and crew prepared for feasting. As the gods anointed, Alcinous made offering on their behalf, an ox to Zeus beyond the storm cloud, Cronos' son, who rules the world. They burnt the great thigh bones and feasted at their ease on fresh roast meat. And in their midst the godlike harper sang, Demodocus honoured by all that realm. Only Odysseus time and again turned craning toward the sun, impatient for day's end, for the open sea. Just as a farmer's hunger grows, behind the bolted plough and share all day afield, drawn by his team of wine-dark oxen. Sundown is benison for him, sending him homeward, stiff in the knees from weariness to dine. Just so, the light on the sea rim gladdened Odysseus, and as it dipped, he stood among the Phaeacians, turned to Alcinous and said, "O king and admiration of your people, give me farewell and stain the ground with wine. My blessings on you all. This hour brings fulfillment to the longing of my heart, a ship for home, and gifts the gods of heaven make so precious and so bountiful. After this voyage, God grant I find my own wife in my hall, with everyone I love best, safe and sound. And may you, settled in your land, give joy to wives and children. May the gods reward you every way, and your realm be free of woe." Then all the voices rang out, "Be it so, and well spoken, and let our friend make sail." Whereon Alcinous gave command to his crier, "Fill the wine-bowl, Pontonous. Mix and serve, go the whole round, so may this company invoke our father Zeus, and bless our friend sea-born tonight, and bound for his own country." Pontonous mixed the honey-hearted wine, and went from chair to chair, filling the cups. Then each man where he sat poured out his offering to the gods in bliss who own the sweep of heaven. With gentle bearing, Odysseus rose, and placed his double goblet in Arete's hands, saying, "Great queen, farewell. Be blessed through all your days till age comes on you, and death, last end for mortals after age. Now I must go my way. Live in felicity, and make this palace lovely for your children, your countrymen, and your king Alcinous." Royal Odysseus turned and crossed the door-sill, a herald at his right hand, sent by Alcinous, to lead him to the sea-beach and the ship. Arete, too, sent maids-in-waiting after him, one with a laundered great cloak and a tunic, a second balancing the crammed sea-chest, a third one bearing loaves and good red wine. As soon as they arrived alongside, crewmen took these things for stowage under the planks, their victualling and drink, then spread a rug and linen cover on the afterdeck, where Lord Odysseus might sleep in peace. Now he himself embarked, lay down, lay still, while oarsmen took their places at the rowlocks, all in order. They untied their hawser, passing it through a drilled stone ring, then bent forward at the oars and caught the sea, as one man, stroking. Slumber, soft and deep, like the still sleep of death, weighed on his eyes as the ship hove seaward. How a four-horse team whipped into a run on a straightaway consumes the road, surging and surging over it, so ran that craft, and showed her heels to the swell, her bow wave riding after, and her wake on the purple night sea foaming. Hour by hour she held her pace. Not even a falcon wheeling downwind, swiftest bird, could stay abreast of her in that most arrowy flight through open water, with her great passenger, godlike in counsel, he that in 20 years had borne such blows in his deep heart, breaking through ranks in war and waves on the bitter sea. This night, at last, he slept serene, his long-tried mind at rest. When on the east the sheer bright star arose that tells of coming dawn, the ship made landfall and came up islandward in the dim of night. Foreseas, the old sea baron, has a cove here in the realm of Ithaca. 2 points of high rock breaking sharply hunch around it, making a haven from the plunging surf that gales at sea roll shoreward. Deep inside, at mooring range, good ships can ride unmoored. There, on the inmost shore, an olive tree throws wide its boughs over the bay. Nearby, a cave of dusky light is hidden for those immortal girls, the Naiads. Within are wine bowls hollowed in the rock, and amphorae. Bees bring their honey here, and there are looms of stone, great looms, whereon the weaving nymphs make tissues, richly dyed as the deep sea is, and clear springs in the cavern flow forever. Of 2 entrances, one on the north allows descent of mortals, but beings out of light alone, the undying, can pass by the south slit. No men come there. This cove the sailors knew. Here they drew in, and the ship ran half her keel's length up the shore, she had such a way on her from those great oarsmen. Then from their benches, forward on dry ground, they disembarked. They hoisted up Odysseus unruffled on his bed, under his cover, handing him overside, still fast asleep, to lay him on the sand, and they unloaded all those gifts the Princess of Phaeacia gave him, when by Athena's heart and will he won his passage home. They bore this treasure off the beach, and piled it close around the roots of the olive tree, that no one passing should steal Odysseus's gear before he woke. That done, they pulled away on the homeward track. But now the god that shakes the islands, brooding over old threats of his against Odysseus, approached Lord Zeus to learn his will. Said he, "Father of gods, will the bright immortals ever pay me respect again, if mortals do not? Phaeacians too, my own blood kin. I thought Odysseus should in time regain his homeland. I had no mind to rob him of that day. No, you promised it, being so inclined. Only I thought he should be made to suffer all the way. But now these islanders have shipped him homeward, sleeping soft, and put him on Ithaca with gifts untold of bronze and gold and fine cloth to his shoulder. Never from Troy had he borne off such booty, if he had got home safe with all his share." Then Zeus, who drives the storm cloud, answered, sighing, "God of horizons, making earth's underbeam tremble, why do you grumble so? The immortal gods show you no less esteem, and the rough consequence would make them slow to let barbs fly at their eldest and most noble. But if some mortal captain, overcome by his own pride of strength, cuts or defies you, are you not always free to take reprisal? Act as your wrath requires and as you will." Now said Poseidon, god of earthquake, "Aye, god of the stormy sky, I should have taken vengeance, as you say, and on my own, but I respect and would avoid your anger. The sleek Phaeacian cutter even now has carried out her mission and glides home over the misty sea. Let me impale her, end her voyage, and end all ocean crossing with passengers, then heave a massive mountain in a ring around the city." Now Zeus, who drives the storm cloud, said benignly, "Here is how I should do it, little brother. When all who watch upon the wall have caught sight of the ship, let her be turned to stone, an island like a ship just off the bay. Mortals may gape at that for generations, but throw no mountain round the seaport city." When he heard this, Poseidon, god of earthquake, departed for Scheria, where the Phaeacians are born and dwell. Their ocean-going ship he saw already near, heading for harbour, so up behind her swam the island shaker, and struck her into stone, rooted in stone, at one blow of his palm, then took to the open sea. Those famous ship-handlers, the Phaeacians, gazed at each other, murmuring in wonder. You could have heard one say, "Now who in thunder has anchored, moored that ship in the seaway, when everyone could see her making harbour?" The god had wrought a charm beyond their thought. But soon Alcinous made them hush, and told them, "This present doom upon the ship, on me, my father prophesied in the olden time. If we gave safe conveyance to all passengers, we should incur Poseidon's wrath, he said, whereby one day a fair ship, manned by Phaeacians, would come to grief at the gods' hands, and great mountains would hide our city from the sea. So my old father forecast. Use your eyes. These things are even now being brought to pass. Let all here abide by my decree. We make an end henceforth of taking in our ships castaways who may land upon Scheria, and 12 choice bulls we dedicate at once to Lord Poseidon, praying him of his mercy not to heave up a mountain round our city. In fearful awe they led the bulls to sacrifice, and stood about the altar stone, those captains, peers of Phaeacia, led by their king in prayer to Lord Poseidon. Meanwhile, on his island, his father's shore, that kingly man Odysseus awoke, but could not tell what land it was after so many years away. Moreover, Pallas Athena, Zeus's daughter, poured a grey mist all around him, hiding him from common sight. For she had things to tell him and wished no one to know him, wife or townsman, before the suitors paid up for their crimes. The landscape then looked strange, unearthly strange to the Lord Odysseus. Paths by hill and shore, glimpses of harbours, cliffs, and summer trees. He stood up, rubbed his eyes, gazed at his homeland, and swore, slapping his thighs with both his palms, then cried aloud, "What am I in for now? Whose country have I come to this time? Rough savages and outlaws are they, or God-fearing people, friendly to castaways? Where shall I take these things? Where take myself with no guide, no directions? These should be still in Phaeacian hands, and I, uncumbered, free to find some other open-hearted prince who might be kind and give me passage. I have no notion where to store this treasure. First comer's trove it is if I leave it here. My lords and captains of Phaeacia, were not those decent men they seemed, not honourable, landing me in this unknown country? No, by God, they swore to take me home to Ithaca, and did not. Zeus attend to their reward, Zeus, patron of petitioners, who holds all other mortals under his eye. He takes payment from betrayers. I'll be busy. I can look through my gear. I shouldn't wonder if they pulled out with part of it on board. He made a tally of his shining pile, tripods, cauldrons, cloaks, and gold, and found he lacked nothing at all. And then he wept, despairing for his own land, trudging down beside the endless wash of the wide, wide sea, weary and desolate as the sea. But soon Athena came to him from the nearby air, putting a young man's figure on, a shepherd, like a king's son, all delicately made. She wore a cloak in 2 folds off her shoulders, and sandals bound upon her shining feet. A hunting lance lay in her hands. At sight of her, Odysseus took heart, and he went forward to greet the lad, speaking out fair and clear. "Friend, you are the first man I've laid eyes on here in this cove. Greetings. Do not feel alarmed or hostile coming across me. Only receive me into safety with my stores. Touching your knees, I ask it, as I might ask grace of a god. Oh, sir, advise me, what is this land and realm? Who are the people? Is it an island all distinct, or part of the fertile mainland sloping to the sea?" To this grey-eyed Athena answered, "Stranger, you must come from the other end of nowhere, else you are a great booby having to ask what place this is. It is no nameless country. Why, everyone has heard of it. The nations over on the dawn side toward the sun, and westerners in cloudy lands of evening. No one would use this ground for training horses. It is too broken, has no breadth of meadow. But there is nothing meagre about the soil. The yield of grain is wondrous, and wine, too, with drenching rains and dewfall. There's good pasture, for oxen and for goats, all kinds of timber, and water all year long in the cattle ponds. For these blessings, friend, the name of Ithaca has made its way even as far as Troy, and they say Troy lies far beyond Achaia." Now Lord Odysseus, the long-enduring, laughed in his heart, hearing his land described by Pallas Athena, daughter of Zeus, who rules the veering storm-wind. And he answered her with ready speech, not that he told the truth, but just as she did, held back what he knew, weighing within himself at every step what he made up to serve his turn. Said he, "Far away in Crete I learned of Ithaca, in that broad island over the great ocean. And here I am now, come myself to Ithaca. Here is my fortune with me. I left my sons an equal part when I shipped out. I killed Orsilochus, the courier, son of Idomeneus. This man could beat the best cross-country runners in Crete, but he desired to take away my Trojan plunder, all I had fought and bled for, cutting through ranks in war and the cruel sea. Confiscation is what he planned. He knew I had not cared to win his father's favour as a staff officer in the field at Troy, but led my own command. I acted. I hit him with a spear cast from a roadside as he came down from the open country. Murky night shrouded all heaven and the stars. I made that ambush with one man at arms. We were unseen. I took his life in secret, finished him off with my sharp sword. That night I found asylum on a ship offshore, skippered by gentlemen of Phoenicia. I gave all they could wish, out of my store of plunder, for passage, and for landing me at Pylos or Elis town, where the Epii are in power. Contrary winds carried them willy-nilly past that coast. They had no wish to cheat me, but we were blown off course. Here, then, by night we came, and made this haven by hard rowing. All famished, but too tired to think of food. Each man dropped in his tracks after the landing, and I slept hard, being wearied out. Before I woke today, they put my things ashore on the sand here beside me where I lay, then re-embarked for Sidon, that great city. Now they are far at sea, while I am left forsaken here. At this, the grey-eyed goddess Athena smiled and gave him a caress, her looks being changed now, so she seemed a woman, tall and beautiful, and no doubt skilled at weaving splendid things. She answered briskly, "Whoever gets around you must be sharp and guileful as a snake. Even a god might bow to you in ways of dissimulation. You chameleon, bottomless bag of tricks. Here in your own country, would you not give your stratagems a rest or stop spellbinding for an instant? You play a part as if it were your own tough skin. No more of this, though. Two of a kind we are, contrivers both. Of all men now alive, you are the best in plots and storytelling. My own fame is for wisdom among the gods, deceptions too. Would even you have guessed that I am Pallas Athena, daughter of Zeus, I that am always with you in times of trial, a shield to you in battle, I who made the Phaeacians befriend you to a man? Now I am here again to counsel with you, but first to put away those gifts the Phaeacians gave you at departure. I planned it so. Then I can tell you of the gall and wormwood it is your lot to drink in your own hall. Patience, iron patience you must show. So give it out to neither man nor woman that you are back from wandering. Be silent, under all injuries, even blows from men." His mind ranging far, Odysseus answered, "Can mortal man be sure of you on sight, even a sage, O mistress of disguises? Once you were fond of me, I am sure of that, years ago when we Achaeans made war in our generation upon Troy. But after we had sacked the shrines of Priam and put to sea, God scattered the Achaeans. I never saw you after that, never knew you aboard with me, to act as shield in grievous times. Not till you gave me comfort in the rich hinterland of the Phaeacians, and were yourself my guide into that city. Hear me now in your father's name, for I cannot believe that I have come to Ithaca. It is some other land. You made that speech only to mock me and to take me in. Have I come back in truth to my home island?" To this the grey-eyed goddess Athena answered, "Always the same detachment. That is why I cannot fail you in your evil fortune, cool-headed, quick, well-spoken as you are. Would not another wandering man in joy make haste home to his wife and children? Not you, not yet. Before you hear their story, you will have proof about your wife. I tell you, she still sits where you left her, and her days and nights go by forlorn in lonely weeping. For my part, never had I despaired. I felt sure of your coming home, though all your men should perish. But I never cared to fight Poseidon, father's brother, in his baleful rage with you for taking his son's eye. Now I shall make you see the shape of Ithaca. Here is the cove the sea lord Phorcys owns. There is the olive spreading out her leaves over the inner bay, and there the cavern, dusky and lovely, hallowed by the feet of those immortal girls, the Naiads. The same wide cave under whose vault you came to honour them with hecatombs, and there Mount Nion, with his forest on his back. She had dispelled the mist, so all the island stood out clearly. Then, indeed, Odysseus's heart stirred with joy. He kissed the earth, and lifting up his hands prayed to the nymphs. "O slim, shy naiads, young maids of Zeus, I had not thought to see you ever again. O listen smiling to my gentle prayers, and we'll make offering plentiful as in the old time. Granted I live, granted my son grows tall, by favour of great Athena, Zeus's daughter, who gives the winning fighter his reward." The grey-eyed goddess said directly, "Courage, and let the future trouble you no more. We go to make a cache now in the cave, to keep your treasure hid. Then we'll consider how best the present action may unfold." The goddess turned and entered the dim cave, exploring it for crannies, while Odysseus carried up all the gold, the fire-hard bronze, and well-made clothing the Phaeacians gave him. Pallas Athena, daughter of Zeus the Storm King, placed them and shut the cave mouth with a stone. And under the old grey olive tree those two sat down to work the suitor's death and woe. Grey-eyed Athena was the first to speak, saying, "Son of Laertes and the gods of old, Odysseus, master of landways and seaways, put your mind on a way to reach and strike a crowd of brazen upstarts. 3 long years they have played master in your house, 3 years trying to win your lovely lady, making gifts as though betrothed, and she, forever grieving for you, missing your return, she has allowed them all to hope, and sent messengers with promises to each, though her true thoughts are fixed elsewhere." At this, the man of ranging mind, Odysseus, cried, "So hard beset! An end like Agamemnon's might very likely have been mine, a bad end, bleeding to death in my own hall. You forestalled it, goddess, by telling me how the land lies. Weave me a way to pay them back, and you too take your place with me. Breathe valour in me the way you did that night when we Achaeans unbound the bright veil from the brow of Troy. O grey-eyed one, fire my heart and brace me. I'll take on fighting men 300 strong if you fight at my back, immortal lady." The grey-eyed goddess Athena answered him, "No fear, but I shall be there. You'll go forward under my arm when the crux comes at last. And I foresee your vast floor stained with blood, spattered with brains of this or that tall suitor who fed upon your cattle. Now for a while I shall transform you, not a soul will know you. The clear skin of your arms and legs shriveled, your chestnut hair all gone, your body dressed in sacking that a man would gag to see, and the 2 eyes that were so brilliant dirtied. Contemptible you shall seem to your enemies, as to the wife and son you left behind. But join the swineherd first, the overseer of all your swine, a good soul now as ever, devoted to Penelope and your son. He will be found near Raven's Rock and the well of Arethusa, where the swine are pastured, rooting for acorns to their heart's content, drinking the dark, still water. Boar flesh grows pink and fat on that fresh diet. There stay with him and question him, while I am off to the great beauty's land of Sparta, to call your son Telemachus home again, for you should know he went to the wide land of Lacedaemon, Menelaus's country, to learn if there was news of you abroad." Odysseus answered, "Why not tell him, knowing my whole history as you do? Must he traverse the barren sea, he too, and live in pain while others feed on what is his?" At this the grey-eyed goddess Athena said, "No need for anguish on that lad's account. I sent him off myself to make his name in foreign parts. No hardship in the bargain. Taking his ease in Menelaus's mansion, lapped in gold. The young bucks here, I know, lie in wait for him in a cutter, bent on murdering him before he reaches home. I rather doubt they will. Cold earth instead will take in her embrace a man or 2 of those who fed so long on what is his." Speaking no more, she touched him with her wand, shrivelled the clear skin of his arms and legs, made all his hair fall out, cast over him the wrinkled hide of an old man, and bleared both his eyes that were so bright. Then she clapped an old tunic, a foul cloak upon him, tattered, filthy, stained by greasy smoke, and over that a mangy big buckskin. A staff she gave him, and a leaky knapsack with no strap but a loop of string. Now then, their colloquy at an end, they went their ways, Athena toward illustrious Lacedaemon, far over sea, to join Odysseus's son.